Hello everyone, welcome to our daily series video number 2. We are going to produce the residential lodge project you see on your screen from scratch to finish. The idea is to outline best practices in ArchiCAD for you to be efficient in project delivery process. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, like and share this video to whom you think will love this type of content. Be sure to check our Patreon membership to download all the files we use for our YouTube videos. And be sure again to check our stores where we sell resources to optimize your ArchiCAD workflow. Without any further ado, let's get started. Bear with me guys, I'm recording this video from the construction site, so there will be the sound background coming from the construction machinery. So it's a challenge that I had to overcome because, you know what, I've signed for this. So the first thing guys to do in order for us to assemble this project successfully and efficiently is to set up a file structure of this project. So what I need to do is to start by defining the elevation markers style that I want to use. So I'll select all of them like that, open the settings. You know me, I don't like this default ArchiCAD markers, so I'll come here under marker symbol and text, set this into something we are used to, something traditional like circle 4, and then I'll go up here under marker. Let's set the marker size to be 15 millimeters, and then once you're done you can hit enter or hit OK to apply the changes. There we go. Here we have our markers in shape. What we need to do again is to set up the project that is related to this the information that is related to this project. So to do that, we're using a feature called project info in ArchiCAD. So if you go to file and then info, project info, this is the list of the information that is necessary to be filled in. Not everything is necessary here, but majority of the stuff here, there will be information that needs to be stored here and controlled here. You can use also auto text feature to extract this information into different view parts, because it's not just meant to be here, it's meant to be used in some views of your project. Things like layouts, things like elevations, things like sections. You can pull up this information into those type of views. So what I need to do is to set up the project name. I'll call it this is going to be tutorial, let me just use caps, tutorial 02, because this is the second tutorial of this week. And then I would have the project description on. It's going to be how to assemble a project from start to finish in ArchiCAD. Perfect. So you can expand this window if you want to have a lot of information to be placed here, and then you can hit OK once you're done. The project ID will be the 02-week 12, and then I can use the same code for the project code as well. I'll copy paste it here. The project number will be 02 WK. Project status will be design concept. All right, so you can go ahead and fill in the information about your site, the building details, your clients details, and your company details. As you can see, we have contact details, and this information it might be typical across all the project because you are the same company, the same contacts, same email, blah blah blah. And to reuse this information, you can export and import it into the next project. That's the point of ArchiCAD. Do it once and then reuse it for the next coming project. So I'll hit OK to apply the changes, and you can see here under the view map. If you're new to ArchiCAD, we have this list of, or this panel which is called Project Navigator. It has list of viewpoints of your project. So the important part you need to understand is the structure, how this is being organized. So if you come here under project map, so we have a list of viewpoints organized in a tree structure. As you can see, we have stories, and then we have different types of list stories here. We can increase as well. They will be increased when you add another story, and then we have elevations and other views, as you can see. So the view map is more or less the same as the project map because they have a list of the viewpoints. The difference here, you can customize and create your own views, and you can access the properties or parameters, advanced parameters of defining your views, just like that. And then you have layout book, where we create the masters, where we host the templates, the title blocks, and we can create also the sheets based on this masters. Masters also represent the size of a sheet. As you can see, we have A1, A2, A3, and A4 here. So once we create a new layout, you'd have to reference the master that we are going to use it for. Okay, and then under publish asset, this is basically where we share the project or share the information in different formats. Currently it's on PDF, but if you select one of this and then you can change here under formats, you can see there are a bunch of lists here for the format you can use to share your project. All right, I think that's being said, let's get started into the modeling of this project. Okay, once we set up the file structure of your project, we move ahead and then create a site. I have an imaginary site just specific for this project. So, but before we do that, let's see the story structure we have for this project. I'll come here under stories and then right click. Let's open story settings, or you can hit Ctrl+7 to access this window as a shortcut in your keyboard. So what I want to do here is to add another story. By default, ArchiCAD will give you these 3 stories that you see currently here. So I need to add this 4th story, but it's going to be foundation and it's going to be under the ground floor. What I need to do is to select ground floor and then insert the story below here, and then I'll name it foundation. The foundation height will be 3 meters because it's more like the size of a view, and then I'll hit OK to apply the changes. Once you've done that, the foundation view to be added to the list here, and then also if you go under the project map, you also find it there. So we need to start our site under foundation. Okay, so from here, like I said, I have an imaginary site that I'm going to use. The first thing that to do is to go to design tool palettes and activate the mesh tool and place our mesh like that. Let's just place our mesh something like here, and then I'll select this and open its settings. I'm gonna get rid of the hatch. Let's get rid of the cover fill and then hit OK to apply the changes. That's basically what you have. So I'll try to Control D and centralize it to the source markers, or to the center of the project like that. Well, it depends. Okay, so from here, because it's a sloping terrain, I would have also an imaginary terrain or controls. So I'll go down here under documents and then activate the spline tool, and then I'll just draw my contours like that. Let's just quickly produce these contours. Something like that. Okay, once I'm done with this, I'll have to add this information or transfer this information into the mesh tool. So what I'll do, I'll select the mesh and then I'll activate also the mesh tool in the tool palette, and then hit space bar and hold in. Then you can click in one of this and then make sure you fit all user regis. Okay, then make sure you apply to all these contours just like that. Space bar and hold, space bar key and hold. You get this magic wand kind of tool and then press or click the contour to apply. Okay, so if you check on 3D, you'd see now we have that information being applied to our mesh. As you can see, let's select the mesh and then change the height, set the height to maybe 3 meters. All right, 3 meters is fine. So what you need to do is to define the value of these contours. So I'll start with this one, give it 500, and then I'll make sure apply to all these points. Okay, and then move on to the next. This will be maybe 800. I'll make sure it's applied to all points. Also this one has to be let's make it 1.6. Enter. That one will be 2.1. Move here, this will be 3 meters high. This also has to be 3 meters. I think this we can make it 2.7, and then this points there has to be 3 meters as well, because they are just 2 points. I'm not gonna say apply to all, I'll just assign point by point to be 3 meters like that, so that in 3D you have something of this nature. By default, ArchiCAD will give you this triangulated mesh. So if you don't see, and I know from the screen you cannot see it properly, let me just change the override to a simplified plane like that. So ArchiCAD by default it will give you this triangulated mesh, and it's not looking great for your both drawings and 3D. So what you need to do is open its settings and then come here under the floor plan and display. We wanna set the ridge selection into show user defined ridges, and then for 3D appearance let's make it ridges smooth and then hit OK. So you can see now we have a clean. Even if we delete now this 2D information, we remain with just a mesh with clean controls. So if same applies to the 3D, you would find now you just have that a nice 3D mesh for your project. Okay, so let's move on and create the actual project. So what I'll do here, I would start under the ground floor. Let's start under the ground floor. Okay, so here on the ground floor, what I would need to do is to make a sketch first, because I'm gonna start everything from scratch. I'm not gonna use a drawing coming from outside. I'm just want to show you or demonstrate, just if you want to start a project from scratch, from a clean canvas, without having reference drawings or whatsoever. So I would start with a column. You can start a wall, sorry. You can start by drawing a sketch using polylines or line tool, just to have the draft of your project. In this case, I don't want to do that. I just want to hit straight on it. I have a sketch on paper. I just want to hit straight onto it. So I'll pick the wall tool, and then let's come here under the project info, under the structure. Let's make the structure basic. I'm gonna set this into be a brick structural. Let's scroll again here, make sure the thickness is 300 is fine, and then I'm going to use a geometry method of a rectangle. All right, then I'm going to draw a rectangle like that with this measurement. It's going to be, the width is going to be 7.8, which is 7,800 millimeters, and then I'll click on this, on the downward arrow, to access the vertical dimension in the tracker, which is going to be 8.6, which is 8,600 millimeters, because I work with on millimeters. And then hit enter. Once you're done, this is no, there's something wrong I did. Let's start it over again. Pick this point, and then I'm going to say the width is going to be 7.8, the height is going to be 18 meters, or 18.6, which is basically 18,600. Then hit OK. That is the footprint of the building, as you can see right away. Okay, so let's just demarcate the spaces and fill in and define the internal spaces of our project. So I'll pick this wall, okay, unsuspend your groups or ungroup, and then pick this wall. I'll Control-Shift-D to drag a copy and place it right next to this wall, and then I'll move this by Control-D again, move it by 5,200 millimeters, which is going to create the space for the bedroom. And then I'll scroll down here while this wall is being selected. I'm going to make it half the thickness of this, which is going to be 150, because it's an internal wall. All right, so once I'm done here, I'll do the same to the other side. Let's say Control-Shift-D to make a copy of this, and then I'm gonna move this up by 4,300 millimeters like that. That will be another space. And for this one, I would also make a copy, Control-Shift-D to make a copy, and then put it aside of this, and then let's move it down or below by one. Okay, let's start first by 600. Let's make it 600. Hit enter. Once we're done with this, I can also do the same, make a copy of that, put it aside on this one by Control-Shift-D, and then Control-D to drag a copy by 1,300, something like that. And then I'll make another copy, put it aside on this one as well, move it down by 2,003 millimeters. This will be the space for the bathroom, and then hit enter. Okay, that's basically it. So what I need to do is to create a passage. So I'll take this wall again, Control Shift D to make a copy, put it aside, and then let's move it by 1.1, which is the corridors to the sides. And then I'll do the same to this side, make a copy, place this here, and then Control D to move this by 1100 millimeters, something like this. So now I have all the spaces being defined here. So what I need to do is to trim off this, trim off that by Control and hold in your keyboard to activate the scissor tool, or you can just pick a scissor tool here and then do the magic. But this one you have to come back again once you've completed one operation. For example, if I were to click, it will go back to the normal one. But if you Control and hold, you can reuse it in multiple occasions like that. Okay, so from here I'll also get rid of this, right, and then I can trim it off somewhere here. Then I can get rid of these walls to remain with that. And then I need to, okay, no, let's say undo. I need to pick parameters of this and then make this also an internal wall, right? Make sure you confirm the width is 1.1, of which that's what I want. And then I can mirror this wall to the other side. I'll use the center of this wall to move it that side, and then these two, and then that I'll select them and then intersect them like that. So this can go, and then I can trim off this there, and then I can get rid of this, because here to be closet for the inside of the bedroom and then the outside. Okay, and then from here what I need to do is take this wall, Control Shift D to make a copy, put it aside next to this one, and then move it around 600, which is going to create a cabinet or cabinetry for the kitchen. And then I can get rid of this wall, right? I can make this, instead of 600, make it 700. I'll add 100 on top, something like this for the kitchen. Okay, so I need to have another wall from this side, so I'll Control Shift D on this wall, put it aside, and then move it this direction by 900 or a meter to create a laundry room. Okay, so this one I can trim it off. Okay, so I have a complete kitchen adjacent to the bathroom for the bedroom. Okay, so this I can delete because this is just an open plane. I'm gonna have a dining here on the center, and then the kitchen cabinet will be on this, and then this side will be the living room. All right, so we are basically done with the project layout. And then we also have the deck on the side. So I'll pick a slab tool to create that, and then also do the same, change the structure to just the basic. Then I can use concrete as a material, and then I'm going to draw it from here. So this should be I'll make it 4.5 by 5.7. all right, and it should come from this side by 4.3, yeah, something like that. We're gonna have a sliding door here, and then this side we're gonna have is full glass coming from that corner around 1 meter. I think, let me just cater for it. I'll pick this wall, Control Shift D to carry a copy, and then move this by 1 meter. No, yes, move this by 700. That's a meter of our where the glass starts, and then I can do the same to the other side like that. Okay, so let's just place this glass. There are different ways of doing it. You can use a curtain wall for this, or you can use, because it's a sliding full glass with a sliding doors. So I would use let me use a door tool for this. Activate the door tool in the design tool palette and open its settings, and then let's find the sliding doors. What we need to do here, I would need to pick which one I would need to pick. Let me pick this one, 26. Okay, and then I'll come here and change this to let's go for let's go for the 4 leaves and 3 siding. This is how many? 4 leaves. I think let's go with the 4 leaves. All right, and then the door leaf will be just a normal grid. Let's change the angle to the handle to just a fixed handle, nothing fancy. Under detailed level, set this to full. Both for the 2 detail level, let's make it this one is 250. Let's make it 1:50. Yeah, let's make it 150, and then I can click on these parameters. What I want us to set is the material. So let's find the model attributes, which is this one, and then I can make the door surfaces uniform by checking on this box and key in whatever the material you want. I'll go with the paint ivory black because I want my metal to be black. Okay, and then once you're done with this, I think you can hit OK to apply the changes. Let's now apply our what you call our door. Sorry, I'll start with this area. I'm just gonna pick this, the inside or the outside, then the opening will be from the inside. Okay, so I would move this to this edge, and then I'll measure this distance, which is 16 meters divided by 2. It's going to be 800. All right, 16 meters is going to be how much? So that means our door is going to be 8 meters wide. So I would say 8 meters, something like that, and then bring it here. We can click on this hotspot and reduce the size of our side light. Side light can be 1.5. All right, that's basically what we want. Let's see, we can simulate the staking of this. Let's say I was taking that to the, but I don't like this. I want the staking to be on one side, so that means I need to change the door type. Let's come here under preview, under sliding door settings. I think click on this to access the list of parameters, and then find the door, the frame style dimension. No, it's not the one. Door settings opening, yes, this one, and then change this to 4 leaves with 3 siding, something like that. Okay, now we can take a copy to the other side. So I think it's best we mirror, because we want also to stack on this side, on this wall as well. So let's go ahead and mirror. Control Shift M, and then I'll use this point to mirror it to the other side. Oh, it didn't mirror. Let's just pick the mirror tool. Okay, it doesn't give me the option to mirror. I don't know why. Control Shift M, yes, and then mirror like that. Okay, it worked. So what I want is to stack all these guys to this side. All right, like so, and then I can also stack this one to that side to have a full opening for the entire house. All right, I'll hit undo, so that, let's come back there, and then there. Okay, for the purpose of this video, we just leave it closed like that. All right, okay, we have now our full glazing in place. The thing that we need to set is the height. So if we check on 3D and check whatever result we got so far, this is basically what we have so far. And then as you can see in 3D, this doesn't look all right at all. What I need to do is to select these two and then open its settings, and then I'm going to change the thickness of the frames, and then just like that. So to do that, let's click here on the door leaf. There's this icon here, click on it, and then I'm going to set the frame width for the lower part to be 40 millimeters, same to the upper and the sides as well, just like that. And then if you hit OK, you'd see now it's starting to look thin and sleek, as you can see. Okay, let's get rid of this side body. So I'm gonna select again this. I think let's access the parameter for the casing outside and casing inside. So I'm gonna check or uncheck this box, do the same to the inside, and then hit OK. So now we have this slim slim sliding door. All right, the size of it has to be 2.4. I think 2.4 is fine. And we need to have another sliding door on the side. So I'm going to go back to the ground floor view, and let's hit W to repeat, and then I'm going to open its settings here under preview and position. We can preview it from the elevation, and then let's come here under the parameters. Let's find the parameter for the door settings. Door settings and opening. And I'm going to change this into a 3. Yes, I think 3 is fine. Let's make it 3 sleeves. Hit OK. We're going to apply it on this. Okay, I think it has to be in line with this wall, and set it to be 3.5 or 4 meters. I think it should be 4 meters. Let's align it with this wall. Okay, check on 3D. All right, we need to reduce the side light. Let's select it and then click on this purple hotspot to reduce the side height to 900. All right, let's check on 3D. Perfect. So we need to also change the dimensions of the frame width. So let's find the parameter for the, okay, we can just click on this tab and set this to 40 as well, like we did to the other ones. Then hit enter to apply the changes. All right, perfect. It looks great. Oh, we need to get rid of the side casing. So open it, open settings, come here under list of parameters. Let's find casing outside, get rid of it, go back again, find casing inside, and uncheck the box as well, and then hit OK. You are super. It looks super. I can make it revealed by 100 just to edit on the inside a little bit. I think same to these ones as well. Let's push them in. Let's just zoom in. Let's push them in by 100, which is the reveal. Perfect. Great. Right. I'm pretty happy with the results. Let's go back again here, and then what I need to do is to place a slab. Let's go to slab. We can pick parameters of this slab like that, and then I can draw a slab that way. So these two walls, they were just for the purpose of aligning my door. I can get rid of it to remain with that. So if you check on 3D, we have now a slab as a base. This has to be a little bit dropped down because you don't want to, you want to prevent water seeping in here. Or you can just leave it because the height of the door is starting from 100. All right, starting from 100 is fine. Okay, let's go back to the floor plan. What you need to do is to change the surfaces of this. Or before you change the surfaces, let's place the furniture just to get a little bit of a feel of how this house is going to operate. So I'm gonna go here under the object tool, open its settings, and then from here what I need to do is click on this to access the, I want to start with the bedding. You can come here under beds, or you can come here under furniture layouts to access the bed layout here. And then what else can I do here? There are a bunch of parameters to set here, but I'm not interested on any style for the bedding, but I'll just hit OK. Okay, under 2D representation, just make it by model view options. All right, and then hit OK. I can place it here, then make sure it's flashing with this wall by Control D and moving to the center of this wall, and create a little bit of a space. You don't want to have your bed right on the surface of the wall, so I'm just gonna leave a gap of 150 millimeters like that. And then let's go ahead and do the cabinet, the closet for this. I'll pick parameters of this just to activate the object tool, and then open its settings. Under here, what I need to do is I need to find the cabinets and shelving, and let's scroll down and find the wardrobes. We have this and that. For this I can select this and then come here, under the 2D representation, make it symbolic, and then you can use this type of I can use this one. Okay, don't worry about the pen styles, whatever graphics, this will handle it globally, so bear with me with that. And then I can hit OK, then place it here. Let's Control M to mirror it from this middle point. Okay, just can I use mirror on the pet palette like that, and then mirror horizontally like that. Control D, pick it this corner and move it to there. You could make it stretch all the way, or by just coming here under the info box and set the length to be maybe let's just go for 1.2. okay, and then I'm going to run a multiple copies to the other side. I could have measured this space first, this distance 4.7, and then divide this by how many? 4. So if you divide this by 4, it's going to be 1175. So I'm going to set this to be 1175, right? And then I can pick one of the points, and then let's find the multiply in the pet palette. And then I'm going to just use increment and spread under drag operation. Let's hit OK, and then I'm going to take it from this point. Oh, sorry, let's start it over again. Multiply, drag and blah, or distribute. Let's use distribute because we know how many we want to fit in. We already had 1. We're supposed to add 4. I mean to place 4. So I'm going to enter 3, which is the copies, and then I can just run multiplication like that, and then I can select all of these guys and then group. Okay, so if you come back here under settings, what we wanted is to, I think let's go for this one. What do you think? I'll go for this with this symbol. Hit OK, something like that. It looks it has a kick on it, and then I can mirror a copy. Control Shift M to mirror a copy by the center line of this wall to the other side like that. All right, we have both the closet in place. Now we need to place a door here and then a door there for the access to this. So I'll start picking a door. Sorry, is there a door? Okay, let's fully finish first. We'll come and place the openings once we are done. I would go back again into object settings. This time around I'm going to go for WC, which is the water closet, and just pick whatever the one and then place it here. Control M to mirror it, or just gonna use a mirror like that. Control D to move it to here. I'd like to position it by the hotspot because this is just the inlet or the connection point of the sewage when you're using MAP MAP tools. This is where you connect this MAP equipment to run or to create your plumbing system or sewage system. All right, and then I can Control Shift D to move a copy here. I can place a urinal. Let's just find urinal here. Go for this one. Hit enter. Perfect. Drag a copy. I'm gonna place a cabinet for this. Sorry, a basin with a cabinet, which is this. Hit enter. Let's Control D and move it to the point. I can, oh no, sorry, make sure it's accurately positioned, and then you can click on one of this point and make sure the move node is active to increase its length like that. Or you could come here and specify the dimension of the length. I could go with let's say 350. 1.350 is fine. Okay, so this side, Control Shift D, we're going to have a laundry or a washer machine. You can just type washer, something like this. Yeah, I can pick this, whatever. I can go for this one. So for the 2D detail, I can let's say symbolic, and then go for this one. Yeah, hit enter. Let's position it somewhere here. I should have a cabinet on this one as well, but to still have a space, I can take this one and the wall, move them by maybe 300 or maybe 400. Let's add 100 on top. Great, so that we can copy this cabinet, Control Shift D and place it here, Control E to rotate it vertically like that, and Control D to pick from this point and place it to this corner. I can stretch it all the way to there. I can decide to place a sink on this, but for this case I'll leave it the way it is, and then I can control and hold to cut or trim this wall like that. So that will be, it will be just open like that. Okay, so we have now the kitchen cabinet. Let's go back again to the object settings and open its settings. What we need to do is let's go back under the folders and then find the layouts. Let's go back to the layouts, furniture layouts, and then I would want this kitchen layout. Okay, just this one to be, it's very quick to assemble it. If I want to speed up my work, most especially when I'm in design phases, I don't want to place kitchen components one by one, like put sink there, put stove there, things like that. I just want to have a tool that can create this once, so I can change the shape to straight because I'm having a straight cabinetry here, as you can see. And then let's go to this arrow, and then I can select what I can put for this kitchen. So the oven, I'm going to take it out, the washer, I'm going to take it out, the dishwasher also, I'm going to take it out, and then I will remain with the cooktop, refrigerator, sink, and oven. I don't think I need oven for this. Let's just leave it for now, and then I can come here and change or select the type of burner do I want, type of fridge I want. I can go for the bottom freezer, blah blah. Let's just leave it the way it is now. Okay, and then I can hit OK once you're done, and then place it. This is to be, and then I'm gonna modify it a bit to fit in the space. I'm gonna Control D and move this to the corner there. This is the cabinet itself, this one, the entire one. And then what you need to do is to bring the sink on top of it under the tall cabinets, which is this. And then one thing I need to do it again is to move the cook burner somewhere here on top, because if we check on 3D, let me just show you on 3D how it is before we set. You see now the fridge and then this, they were out together with the stove, they were out of the context, so I have to drag them manually to place them. So this is a tall cabinet. A tall cabinet will be next to the, it's fine next to the sink there, and then this will be the oven. I can put oven under the cooktop. Then the fridge is gonna come on this space, and then because it's facing on the wrong side, I'm have to pick it and mirror horizontal like that. Right, so if you check on 3D, that's your kitchen in just a matter of 2 seconds. All right, so you can also increase the length of your top cabinets, maybe to somewhere here, so that on 3D it becomes something like that. Okay, so let's go back. Right, so we're done with the kitchen. I think we need also to increase this wall just to here. Same applies to this one, just to there. All right, so let's go move on to the dining, which is going to be here. I'm going to activate also the object and open its settings. Under the dining, I'm going to use a kitchen cabinet as well. Let's find kitchen cabinet. I'm going to go with this base cabinet, block 26. I don't want to do anything. What I can do here is to add a sink on top. Let's find a sink. Oh, here it is. Here's, I'm going to add a sink, and then open the sink parameters, choose the sink, the type of sink you want to use. I'll go with this one, and then hit enter, then can place your element there. So we need to set the dimensions of this. So it's going to be, the length is going to be 3 meters, something like that, and this is going to be is it 1 meter? Yeah, and then I can rotate this to that, and then let's make sure it's on the center of the building. Make sure it's on the center, and then I'll move all the way to here, and then move back by 1.2, which is the circulation. I think 1.2 is too much. Let's move it back by 200, something like this, or maybe another 100. Okay, all right, it looks great. So finally we are going to add a lounge or living space. So I'm gonna go back again to the objects, open its settings, and I'm gonna find a layout, furniture layout, so that I can go with this sofa layout. Get rid of this sitting on the left, hit enter, let's place it something like that. Okay, so that's basically it for the placement of furniture. Let's go and finalize it by placing the doors. So I'll open the door tool, open its settings, and then I'm gonna go with the hinge tool here, scroll down, let's find door 26 if you're using version 26, and let's go to the parameters. What I want us to do is to model attributes to set up the frame surface. I'm gonna make it also paint ivory black, and then make sure the 3D detail level is full, and go back under floor plan and section. I don't want to use fields, I'll switch off the fields. Then 2D detail levels should be scale sensitive or 1:50, and then hit OK. Let's apply it here, and then oh sorry, this one goes by the bathroom, something like that. Okay, the space looks tight, it looks tight. We can maybe push this wall up by 200, and then I can also reduce the size of this door, which is 900 to 800, something like this. Let's move it back by 100. Okay, now I can pick these two line walls and intersect them. This I can do it manually, stretch it across the width of that to snap and create a good joint. All right, so great. I think majority of all the elements here are in place. What else do we need? To add a door for both this access to the bedroom. So I'm going to go back to door tool, open its settings, and find the sliding door. This time around I'm going to go for a pocket door. Set its model attributes and uniform the surfaces and change it to ivory black. Make sure the 3D detail level is full, and then click to access this floor plan and section parameters. I don't want to use fill, I will uncheck that, and then the detail level should be 1:50, and then hit OK. Let's come here and place it from there. So it has to open from the inside of this wall. I'm going to do the same to the side, open to the inside of this wall, and it has to flush right on the wall. I'll move it right on the edge of the wall like that. Do the same to the side, Control D to move it here. Okay, right. So if we check all this in 3D, this is what you have. Okay, now is the time for us to define our surfaces texture for both walls. So for the internal walls, let me just select all of them and then open in section. Instead of using now a brick structure, this is going to be it's going to be a timber stud. So I'll find here, and then let's go for, I'll just go for timber structural, right? And then let's open its settings. What I want is to override this surface to be a, let's find a floorboard. Yeah, I'll use floorboard 1. The inside will be, let's just leave it now under a white material, and let's see what we have. I don't like this floorboards. Let's go back and change it. Maybe let's go for floorboard 3, hit enter. Yeah, something like this. And then we also have an issue here on the joint. Even if we try to fillet or intersect this, it won't fix this connection. What we need to do is to, because these are the different materials, we have a material that is not gonna clean up this corner. What we need to do is go back again and open the settings. What we need to do is to override also this by the same material. So I'm gonna go for a floorboard 3. Yeah, and then boom, it will fill up. Now we have a good joint. Okay, that's great. We're gonna do the same for the floor slab. This has to go all the way, so I'm going to override the surface for this, which is this edge, and then the top part as well is going to be timber floor. Let's just find timber or wood. Let's find underflooring. We can still use the same floorboard 3, and then let's link the surfaces. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and then for the internal walls, let's quickly select them like that. I'm going to change this to a same material we have for the internal side of the exterior walls, and I'm going to override all. Then it's going to be stucco white rough. If I remember very well, I've used the stucco white rough for this inside. Yes, it is. Okay, all right, the closet cabinetry has to go all the way up, so I'm going to unsuspend group. Then let's try to see if we stretch the height, all of them should go. Oh, there we go, perfect, nice. All right, so we came to a point of doing the roof for this. So for the roof, I'll just quickly let's select the story. We can rename it to the roof. Okay, and then I will select this slab for the floor, and then Control-Shift-D to move a copy. I'll use this point to move this copy, and then I'm gonna place it on the first floor or the first story, which is the roof. And then let's scroll down here and then find the home story. Let's link it to the upper story, and then set the base offset to 0 like that. Okay, so we have an encroachment of our cabinetry here. What we can do is select both the cabinets for the closets, suspend group, and then hit F5 to isolate them. What we need to do here is let's deselect the slab, and then pick, let's find, I wanted to, okay, let's do this. Let's pick one, and then stretch the height underside of the slab. We can pick parameters of this and inject to all the remaining cabinet, or we can just pick the height of it, copy, and then do the same, or apply to this one. I'll just hit paste there and then enter, something like that. Okay, so now this is the roof, and we're gonna use a different material. This is not going to be a concrete, it's going to be a timber structure. So I'll come here again, and then let's find a timber structural. Okay, and then yes, now we have that's, we can change the ceiling height. I think the ceiling height is fine like that. Okay, it's fine. So let's show all in 3D. Right click to show all in 3D. That's basically what you have. We've assembled this in a matter of I think about 30 minutes. We are done with the project. Okay, so make sure all the objects are sitting on the right location. You see now they are more like they are hanging. So I need to go back to the ground and then activate the object tool, Control A to select all the objects, and then set them to 0, because our slab is set to be at 0. If you check at 0, or we can increase a little bit of a thickness of the floor finish, which is basically the height of a timber. Okay, Perfect. Now we're done with the shell of the building. It has to be floating. Remember, it has to be suspended from the ground. So if we go back here underground, and then what I want to is to cut a section here and start using a section to model this. So let's go to the tool palette, and then under viewpoints, that's where you get your section tool. Let's cut a section across here, something like that. And then this section also, I don't like the way it is. I'm gonna select it, open its settings, and then under its settings, let's set this to be segmented, and then I'm going to break it here on the center, and then the length for now I don't have to worry. The height of the style of the marker should be 15 millimeters, and then if you move down here under marker symbol and text, change this to match your elevations. You have something like this. I can now stretch this to there, stretch also this to there, move it up, something like that. Okay, let's select our elevation section marker and right click to open with current view settings, and then just to acknowledge. So this is basically a slope. We need to provide a structure that will support all this building. I think this is also made up of timber. I'll change this to be timber structural. Yeah, something like that. Okay, perfect. So I'm not happy with the slope definition for this. So what I can do, I can maybe drop this by 2 meters. No, but still 2 meters, and then come here under the side plane of foundation. We're going to make this side, let's make this side 4 meters, and then this will be 3.2, something like this. So if you, what did I do? It has to be a mirror. Let's mirror this. I'm gonna mirror my mesh, Control M, mirror it by center point. Let's activate the mirror here, mirror it vertically like that, so that in 3D becomes this way. I want the view from this glazing to be overlooking to the sloping side. You know what I mean? Something like this. Yeah. So if I go back to the section, and then let's see. Okay, so I think we need to increase the size. I can move this up like that to 0. All right, and then start dropping all this down further. I'm gonna drop this down to, okay, no, not this one. Let's drop this down to maybe -300. Same to this one, drop it to 0. This also has to be -300. Also this point has to be -300. Okay, let's see on 3D. Yeah, so I can see the slope. It's what I want. Obviously we won't get the perfect slope, but I'm utilizing the time that I'm having here, because this is the imaginary site. Remember what I said. But in most cases it doesn't work like that. You'll be provided with this information. It's what you see or what's existing on your site. But for the project like this, I can do an imaginary stuff. Okay, so this contour needs to drop as well. Maybe make it the size of that. So let's go back here. I'll make it the size of, okay, no, it's not supposed to be 0. Let's see, I'll drop it to maybe 500. Let's see on 3D. I've dropped the wrong, okay, must be this one. Okay, drop it to 500. Let's see on 3D. I can check on the sketch as well. Yeah, a little bit. I think it has to go all the way again. I can make this maybe 5 meters. Also this point has to be 5 meters. 5 meters. Yeah, let's see. Check on the section. And maybe we can bring it back to 0 like that. And then I'm gonna drop this dramatically as well. So this will be negative 1.5, negative 1.5, and this is going to be negative 2 meters. Okay, same applies to this point and this point as well. Oh, sorry, it should be negative 2 meters. And then this is how much? It's 500. Okay, let's see in the 3D. Okay, let's appreciate on the section. Yeah, I need also to drop this one. Let's drop this by negative 1.2. Okay, it looks great now. And then if we check on the section, that's what we have. So what I need to do is to make a connection between the surface and this here. All right, so I would go back here, and then maybe under the ground, let's draw a line. I'm just gonna draw a line here. Maybe a line go all the way like that, or let me just use a spline tool. This line will go like that, something like this. It will be more like we are refilling the space or the site with this contour. And then under the foundation, that line, if it's not appearing there, I can Control X and come under foundation, Control V to paste it there. There we go. I'll select the mesh, then go to the design tool palette and activate your mesh tool, and then space bar and hold in your keyboard to click on this line and make sure you fit user ridges. Okay, so that this is going to be, the height of this is going to be at let's see here what this is, around 2.1. I'll make sure also this becomes 2.1, right? Or maybe not 2.1, something, it will be something like that. Not, I think 2.1 is huge. Let's make it 1 meter. Let's check on, go back again, drop it a little bit, maybe by 500. Shit. Apply all by 500. Okay, let's see, should be right now. Yeah, so now you see you have a good connection between your deck and your mesh. That's how basically you can use cut and fill method. So now we have our building resting here, and then we need to create now the steel supports that will be braced on the ground. All right, let's do that. I'll come here and then make sure the trace is active, or you can come here and right click on the ground because we want to trace over the ground, and then show is a trace reference. So what we need to do here is to place grids. I'm going to come here under documents, activate the grid element, and then my grid will start from here to this direction, and then let's just move it centrally to the building like that. Open its settings. What I need to do is to change the floor plane display to be dashed tripled, hit OK, something like this, something like that. And then it has to be spaced by 4 meters, 4,000 millimeters, and then I'll mirror copy to the other side, because these grids represent the supports location on the ground, something like this. And then I'll name them. This will be B, this will be C, and that becomes D, something like that. Right, so we need to add now the steel footing. So I'll go to the design and then activate the beam tool. So I would want to use a complex profile for this, but you'd find you are limited in terms of structural steel material here. I'll go to options and complex profile, import standard steel profile. So I'll choose the region where I'm based, and then I would find under the I section, let me find the right sizes I'm gonna use. In this case, or you can just load everything if you want. Let's just add them here, and then I can also pick them there and import. That will import all this into my model or my project. It will take a little bit of time, yeah, but there we go. And then from here I can come here under custom, still under the beam tool. Custom, I can find different types of steels that I can use, and I think I've gone with size 100 by 100. Let's go with this one first and see. And then I'm going to place this to there, and then this has to sit straight from 0. So if we check on 3D, let's see, or we cut a section. Let's cut a section. Let's bring this section line to this element. Open the section view and identify the location of this. Select it and make sure it sits on the right position or location. I'll move it somewhere here so that it can be visible on 3D if you want to see. Okay, here we have, but what I want is to slope it a bit. You can make it to slope a bit. Let's see how we can do that. Select it and then open its settings. We can use this slope and make it or you just hit OK, come back to the section. You can slope it manually like that. Let's slope it here just to follow the profile of the ground, something like that. Yes, okay. I think the height of this is too much. I can reduce the height. Let's find the one with the, this is 300. Yeah, this one looks much better. This one looks much better. I'm thinking to drop this contour line again a bit. Let's go back. Let's drop it down a bit. This one. And make sure it's maybe 1.8. Oh, sorry. It should be 1,800. Okay, so if we check on 3D, it's been dropped dramatically. Something like that. Okay. Yeah, and then go back to section and let's move it back. And then I can stretch the height of this on the side as well to follow the profile of the ground. So that's basically what you have. And go back here. What I want, this has to be centralized just on the space. They're not supposed to go all the way. They're supposed to be centered here, something like this. And then I can move them using the center point like that. So if you check on 3D, that's basically what I want. Okay, now I need to do the vertical members, but before we do that, let's go back to the section. I need to copy this to the inside of of this slab, and then make this straight instead of sloping. Make it straight like that. Okay, move it back to here, because the internal structure of the floor is going to be hidden or laminated with some wood finish. So that's what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna go back on the foundation plan and activate the column tool to do the vertical ones. I'm going to use the same profile for the column tool. Let's use the same profile and make sure you use the same size of steel. I think we've used this 200, this one. Yeah, let's place it here, select it. I think we need to rotate it that way. No, oh, sorry, I forgot to save this file, guys. Bear with me. I would have to save it quickly, just to where I'm gonna just say project sample, then hit save. Okay, we need to rotate this accurately. As it is now, I don't think it's accurate. What I'll do, come here and find the rotation axis. If it's not here, we can use, let's find the settings inside under segment. There's no rotation. Okay, that's fine. Let's just do it manual. I'll pick Control E to rotate, pick this point, and then pick that one. Make sure it's horizontally aligned, and then I can move this point to here. Control D to flash it with the other ones, and then if we check on 3D, that's basically what we have. So this has to sit right on top of that. Okay, let's perfect the joint between these two. So I'll use a section view as well, and then select it. What I need to do is to pick this point. I can use this rotate joint and make sure it's sitting on that. If you check on 3D, this has to be all the way, gents, all the way on top of this member like that. All right, no, that's how you can do it. For now, I'm not worried with the jointing. It looks great. And then this has to slope a bit. Let's open its settings under column, make it slope a bit by maybe 60. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so we need to fix the joint between this. Let's fix the joint. Yeah, something like that. All right, and then it has to connect with the, I'm gonna stretch it from here to this, because it has to connect with this beam here. Stretch this beam all the way to there. All right, and then I'm gonna mirror a copy of this to the other side. I don't know, can we mirror in a section? Control Shift M, yes we can. I'll pick the center point of that one and then apply it there, stretch it all the way to there. Let's fix the joint by clicking on this point and then rotate the joint angle, something like that. Okay, I'm not gonna be accurate as much as I can when I'm doing a real project, but for the sake of this, you get what I'm trying to do. And then this has to be also, no, okay, let's undo. I want to stretch this to be right on the edge like that. Once you're done with this, let's group them to be a one unit. Unfortunately, you cannot group on 3D on a section. I would hit F5 to isolate this gentleman, then select all of them, hit Control D. That's basically the structure support of our project. So what I'll do, I'll multiply this to the other side. But in practical sense, let's go back here. In practical, you do have this the top part or the top beam to be going all the way to here. Same applies to this side, and then this can also, okay, let's just put it there. Okay, that's in practical terms. So if you check on 3D, it has to be something like that. And then let's run a multiple copy to the other side. I can Control Shift D and use this grid to carry a copy to that grid. And then once you are done, select both of them, Control Shift M to mirror them to the other side, because they are more or less the same. Make sure it sits on the right position. So once you're done, check on 3D. Okay, let me just select all of them first. Select that, make sure the suspend group is active, and then hit F5 just to appreciate them. This side is missing. I don't know why. What happened? Because we grouped everything. And then, okay, let's do the same. Place it again, hit continue, and then I can Control Shift mirror to the other grids like that, hit continue. So if we select all these and isolate them in 3D, they have to be a story like this. Okay, that's basically it. So it has to be 1 unit. Now how do you make it 1 unit? I'm going to go back, and then I'll pick the parameters of this. On the center of that, I would have a beam that will run across all the way to the other side like that, and then I can have another one on this side, maybe here, then mirror a copy to also the other side. Make sure these are grouped. So for this decking as well, it has to go all the way. Let me unsuspend group so that you can see. This has to go all the way to there, and then now Control Shift M or Control Shift D to carry a copy to here. Oh, let me just mirror a copy instead of to mirror a copy and use the center line. Place it there. Okay, so we have this extension for the support of that, for the support of the deck. So technically on 3D, this is how this will look. Let's F5. Yes. Okay, let's go back and make sure all these are selected. If we hit F5, basically this is the support base of the project. Obviously, a structural engineer has to advise with the sizes, whatever design on this, but I would want it to be slender like this and be suspending my project like that. Okay, so if I hit show all on 3D, that's basically what you have. Okay, in 3D. So you can change the graphic override. Currently this is a default ArchiCAD. You have all these lists by default, but I don't think this one, it looks much better if you use it to on 3D. It looks great. Obviously on the top here is going to change because you have to have the how do you collect water from this roof going down. I've seen an idea of somewhere. Let me just show you how that works. Let's go back to the roof, and then let's switch off the trace just to have the what to call this, the roof member. And then what I'm going to do is let's find I'm going to use a beam as well, and then this time around I'm going to use a U shape instead of this angle line. A U shape, and then let's just draw it there to there, but it looks small. I think let's go back to options, complex profile, and import a U shape. Still, let's find a U shape. This we're going to use it as a gutter, and let's find a size that we can use for the gutter. This is G1. G1 is the height of the gutter, maybe 200 or 220, this one. Okay, let's edit and then select to import it. So I'm gonna check this and use the one we already placed, which is this one, but it still looks small. Okay, I need to rotate it, because if we check on 3D, we need to rotate it so that it can stand as a cut. How do you rotate it? Let's open its settings here, and axis rotation, I think is this one. Let's make it 90. Perfect. So we need to bring it down. I'm going to use a section to do that. Here is the profile. I'm going to move it down to flush with it has to flush with the roof. Okay, and then I'm gonna have another one on the side as well, something like this. Let's right click and bring connect solid element operation. If we check on 3D, these guys will be sitting like that, and then I can use them as an operator. This I'll use it as a target, and then this operation is going to be subtraction with upward extrusion and then hit execute. Just to open, oh, this side it didn't work. Why? I didn't select. Okay, oh, I just selected one. Add this as operator, this as a, okay, here it is. This is the one. As an operator, I'll take the roof element as a target and then execute. It has to clean up like that. So this will act as water collection point to the other side. So if you don't want your water to be flush spilling on this wall, you would have to, where are they now? Okay, they went to ground, but we want them at the top. So because they are sitting on the, let's come here, and then we're gonna say show only on home story. Okay, so now they will be showing on the roof. So what I want to do is to stretch this to this point, or you can use the adjust, and then you can adjust them to this area. Do the same to the side, adjust them to this point, so that when water comes, it goes straight off. It looks huge. Okay, this side is better, that side is huge. So we can reduce this. Let's use the same adjust tool and trim off that. Okay, yeah, it looks much better. It looks much better that way. So that's basically how you create. I think the surface of the top part is going to change as well. I don't think it will be a timber like this. You could go for your corrugated iron sheet or your flat or plain sheets, depending on the design. Okay, so when it comes to the floor plan view, I want us to use because I already set this, I hate the ArchiCAD default pen style. So what I need to do is to bring in a graphic override combinations to control all this globally, the graphics quality of my plane. So I would import a specifically created graphic override for the floor plans. Let's import that. I'll go here under the graphic override combination. I'll click to open the window for the graphic override, and then I'll come here down below to import, and then let's locate that pack. So if you want to download this pack, guys, go down in the link on the description panel. You'll find the link for the floor plan and graphic pack. I also have it for elevations as well. So I'll open the XML folder, and then in this case I'm using version 25. I'll use this one, and then I'll load in the XML document. So I would want to load, you can load them all in once by selecting all of them like this, but in this case I'm going to load just one, which is this one. Hit open and then hit OK. So that's basically what I want. I can delete this line to not confuse you. Clearly you can see the quality of the lines instantly right away, but practically you would have a line. I don't know why this line is not showing for the slab, so it has to show when you zoom in like that. So to fix this, you have to select all these doors. Let me select these two doors, and then open the settings. We have to switch off the fill because that's the one that preventing the underneath line for the slab or for the floor to show. And then I'll click in this arrow to access all the parameters. Let's find the model. I think it's the floor plan and section parameters, and then it says use fills. Let's uncheck this box, and then if you hit OK, you would now have your line permanently visible for the edge of the floor, which is this. All right, yeah, even from a zoomed out scale, you also you'll be able to see it that way. Okay, we came to the end of this video. Let me take this opportunity to thank you for making it to this far, and be sure to check the link to download the project file, templates and preset used for this video in the description panel. Subscribe, share and like this video. That's all what I'm asking from you. If you have any questions, go to the comment section. I'll be waiting for every comment to respond there. Thank you once again. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.